Alright, this video is late. Let's get it over with. This was a waste of time. I mean, my god, this episode of Fairy Tail was just pointless. And what's sad is, it didn't have to be. I mean, sure, Frosh isn't the most important character in Fairy Tail. I mean, not yet at least. He's gonna die in a year, and that's gonna cause Rogue to go crazy and go destroy the world. But for right now, he's not that important. So when I saw this episode was about him, I was a little concerned. But then when I saw what they were trying, kind of story they were trying to tell, I was a little intrigued. It was a lost story trying to find your way back home. It's simple, quick to the point, and it's relatively safe. It's really hard to fail an episode like that, and somehow they managed to do it. There's a lot of gags, there's a lot of moments that just make you wonder why this is even an episode. But it's not as bad as last week's. I mean, last week was just completely out of nowhere. Just didn't need to be part of the story. And this episode could have been a character building moment for Frosh and for the Sabretooth Guild. Maybe cementing that they're important, at least as important as Fairy Tail. I mean, sure, Fairy Tail's the main characters, but they live in a world with other mages, with other guilds. So to see stories about those guilds really shouldn't be a surprise or a special of any kind. It just be like, yeah, life goes on, or even without Fairy Tail. Of course, having Fairy Tail characters in here was expected, but to have every single one was, again, it was unnecessary, because they're just essentially asking the same thing, wondering where Frosh is going and who he's talking to, and that's pretty much it. So, and even the other Mage Guild members, like Miliana and Kagura, it just made me wonder, like, wait, do all the guilds shop in Fiore? I mean in Magnolia? Is Magnolia the trading hub of the world? Is this where they go for all their exotic lotions and their herbs? Is this the only city that has them? Is that why I see all these other guilds convening on this point? But either way, whatever. The main point was Sabretooth following Frosh on his journey of trying to find the guild, because he got lost looking for a frog costume of the same type as his for Rogue to wear. I've heard of worse reasons of getting lost, and unless it's sweet, it really again cements there are other characters out there besides the Fairy Tail that have a deep bond, and I like seeing this between Frosh and Rogue. Although I will question why Rogue doesn't get involved. I mean, I understand it's like a fatherly kind of love or a big brother kind of love, like, let my my child or little sibling find his way home. He's to grow up, he wants to be his own man. I have to, I still want to watch over him, but I have to let him do this. And it's sweet, I get it. But at a certain point, you have to stop. When Frosh was walking through town in the middle of the night, at that point I had to say, dude, stop fucking with him. Take him home already. He's probably starving. He's probably tired and scared. Take him home. That smile he's putting up is a front. He's scared out of his mind. But either way, that ultimately doesn't add up to anything, because it ends on a joke. It doesn't end with Frosh actually learning how to get home by himself. It ends with him ending up in Fairy Tail. It's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. He ended up in Fairy Tail. Funny times. End of episodes. Like, what was the point of that? I mean, if he somehow managed to get to the guild by himself, it would have been a fine episode. It would have been like, oh, that's nice. Frosh finally grew up a bit. He's developing. Even the most minor characters have some development. That's good to have in any series. But, it needed jokes. Like, it didn't have enough jokes in this episode. I don't know. And I will say I was a little uncomfortable with the whole Sabretooth kind of suggestive scene where they were all getting naked. Okay, when it started and Sting was telling her to strip, similar to how the Guildmaster did before, I was just a little uncomfortable with that, because I know they knew it was for to go into the swimming pool. But at that certain moment, I had to think, what would someone who went through such a traumatic experience actually think of this moment. What would someone who actually had to strip in front of someone react to a friend or supposed friend telling them, hey, remember that time? We're going to repeat that time right now. It's a joke. Strip. Like, no, and it's not. It's creepy. And then when everyone else started taking off their clothes, I'm like, what the fuck? Is this some kind of new initiation? You know, so she doesn't feel left out. Like, don't worry. We will also strip so you don't feel as awkward when you have to strip again. I don't get it. But again, swimming pool, it's still a bit uncomfortable, but it's swimming pool. Whatever. Fine little joke there. I don't know. But ultimately, again, waste of an episode. It's not, I won't say it didn't need to happen because, again, I like seeing side characters get development. So this episode, while not necessary, would have been appreciated. I would have liked it. I would have thought it was nice and cute and warm, you know, and just a nice little episode to pass the time. But because it had to end on a joke, there was no point to it. Yeah. So, a waste of an episode, really. Hopefully, you know, the series gets back on track, you know, starts a new arc, starts getting some more, you know, better story elements, and yeah, until then, I'm Tony Dragon, bye bye.